Well, howdy there, Godzilla gamers. We're talking about Godzilla gaming in today's episode of Cyan Crocomire desperately tries to keep his channel alive. So, this is Godzilla Battle Line. If you're unfamiliar, this is the Godzilla mobile game that's like Clash Royale, but with Godzilla in it, therefore, clearly the superior game. What game design flaws? No, that's not a real thing. So, in the last season, this is late. This is made really late, but listen, I have like a life and things. This is late, but last season we got units 99 and 100, Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla from the Netflix movies. The Netflix movies that everyone loves. So I figured, what better time to do like a top 100 Godzilla Battle Line units? I make tier lists for this game every month. Sometimes they're not very good. Today I'm gonna lock in, I'm gonna focus up, and I'm gonna try to actually rank all 100 fully evolved units in this game, and I'm gonna make some content out of it. My last Godzilla Battle Line video, the main critique was that it was not very approachable for people who knew jack about this game. So I'm gonna try and fix that, but at the same time, I'm way too lazy / busy to actually record any footage, so I'm just gonna half-assedly explain what all these guys do and why most of them suck. Since this is, an even 100, figured I'll add this. I'm gonna try and do 10 units in S tier, 10 units in F tier, and then 20 in all the others. That is not increments of 20, I'm realizing. And also I specified fully evolved. Let's go ahead and add all of the unevolved units to the babies tier. So I think that's everyone. So that's all the unevolved units. This is my vague ranking of them in comparison to each other, I guess. I don't know. This part doesn't matter. I'm taking evolutions into consideration when I rank all these guys. So here we go. Let's just go in the vague alphabetical order I've put them in, and then I'll organize the tiers later. So, Anguirus, the most basic unit in the game. He's got high HP, that's his gimmick. C tier. Stealth Bomber, wow. Bomber, my darling. Season 2, like, the greatest unit in the game. Season 3, complete trash, and now we're on, like, Season 30-something. So, the devs really do not love you. And I don't... You know what? The airbase came back. There's hope yet for Stealth Bomber. Stealth Bomber will target the enemy leader. The problem is it's really lackluster in, like, every regard. Battra! Battra also used to be really good. He's okay. He's 4 cost, and he buffs allies with attack, which makes Megalon his mortal enemy. Biollante! Good at spreading damage. Cheap unit. Easy evolution because Biollante Rose barely moves. Big damage range. Also kind of a basic unit, but you know what? Sometimes basic is good. Other Biollante. Also good at, like, spreading damage. Chip damage centric unit. Nothing's really immune to poison except him. So that's nice, I guess. Right, I should also clarify, since this is last season, balance changes aren't being taken into consideration. Anguirus got more damage, I think? This guy got more damage. This guy got an AI fix. And that's kind of it. It didn't even really matter that much. But yeah, I'm not taking that into consideration. Also, you'll see the new Final Wars units aren't here. Yeah, this is last season. This is the top 100 for the season that nobody's playing anymore because the game updated. Okay, Chibi Godzilla regular. Bad. Even if he gets his full atomic ray charged, he's still not good. He is cheap though, but he's not good. And then... Careful who you call ugly in middle school. The wretched children are here. Woo, the wretched children. We all love the wretched children. The, like, lead game designer said so or something. He's like, yeah, the duo unit was received so well, we're going to add more. Sorry, I had to sneeze because the children make me sick. I hate these two. Can you believe that in my last Godzilla Battle Line video I said they weren't like a huge deal. Boy, was I wrong. These two suck, and I hate them. And I especially hate Mechagodzilla with his stupid goddamn distracting ability that will distract things that are in, like, a complete other county. Speaking of top tiers I hate, Desghidorah! Previously a, like, tanky unit. Sort of a defensive unit, but also, like, if he gets into offense, he's got, like, good HP, and he can, like, does, like, the big fire, like, flamethrower, so he can, like, hit stuff, like, in the back. And then rather than, like, try and make him good with that gimmick and, like, up his stats or whatever, they just said, no, let's make him a sniper. Let's give him 85 goddamn range and change nothing else. So he doesn't die to anything. He sits in the back and takes pot shots at your leader unless it has above 85 range, which is like 3 of them. Ultima, Super Mechagodzilla, and Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla's down here. And Shin Godzilla's not even good! I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. Speaking of top tiers I hate, but first Other Destoroyah. Other Destoroyah is just, like, pretty good. Kind of a glass cannon, but not really. His HP's still good. Big damage. Kind of an easy evolution because Flying Form Destroy is bugged and will start evolving as he's being deployed. So his already quick 15 seconds is actually more like 13. So yeah, Destroy is pretty dang nice if you like big single target damage. Also, he splits into the little babies on death, which is a neat little bonus, I guess. Alright, other top tier I hate. Destoroyah Ariake. His gimmick is that he does more damage than everything else in the game for no goddamn reason. If the enemy is not targeting him, i.e. Destoroyah is out of their search range, or they are focused on something else, he switches to his Horn Katana, which does double damage and inflicts defense debuffs. And, as if that wasn't crazy enough, he also does extra damage against grounded units. We didn't need that. That's what flying units are for. The Horn Katana, if he kills his target with the first hit, the second hit, which inflicts the debuff, snaps to something else in range, even if they don't meet the requirements, even if they are targeting Destoroyah. Who allowed this? Alright, I'm gonna stop talking about Ariake before I get mad. But yeah, he's probably sitting at this #1 spot pretty comfortably. Did I mention he's like 5 cost? Alright, Destoroyah babies are gimmicky. They stop, like, Mothra Leo real good, because, you know, we really need an answer to Mothra Leo in this game. Yeah, I guess if it's like a single target flying unit, they can do pretty good for all 0 of those that are relevant. Mothra, I guess. Aqua Mothra, I guess. No, Aqua Mothra's not even flying. He gets stopped by Kamacuras. Dimension Tide is good. You can just sort of push and pull things wherever you want them to go. Plus damage is nice. If you're like 1 pixel away from killing the enemy leader, and they're like, haha, I can bring this back, and then you just drop a black hole on them and they die. Dorats, the flying Kamacuras. It used to be really nice to have, like a cheap, like, panic button option like Kamacuras or Dorats. Now you don't really need that. You either distract with Shinden, or you kill them with whatever big, insane damage unit you have, or you stun them with the children, or you stun them with Desghidorah. Energy Refueler. I always just sort of put this in B tier, like high B tier. It's, like, good, but at the same time, everyone runs train bombs. So unless you have a second building, it's probably not going to last too long. If your opponent is me, who doesn't run train bombs, it can be pretty nice. It can enable a lot of, like, just stacking high-cost units on top of each other. So, like, it's okay. Ava 0. Crossover units. Most of the crossover units are real bad because they're not in the game anymore, which means they don't get balance changes. Ava 0 can do good damage by, like, charging in with the big missile. Whatever it is. N2 mine, N2 bomb, whatever it is. Big missile. That's kind of all she does, though. Her first form, where she's got, like, the gun, not worthwhile. The second form with the shield, it's neat, but you've got other tanky units. And this is a 5-coster. Anguirus is cheaper. So, Ava 1, also not super good. He has some halfway decent interactions. He's self-destruct immune, which means if he gets a kill on Sachiel, he doesn't deal with the explosion. It is worth noting that he will lose to Sachiel 1v1. He also can charge through Alt Space Godzilla's crystals, because their damage is technically self-destruct damage. The problem is he will still skid to a halt to try and shoot them down, which means he doesn't really get to run towards him all that well. And besides that, his damage is mediocre. So D tier, all of them D tier. Eva 2. You'd think like a Gigan 04 that can hit flyers is good, but 6 cost, and the damage isn't really there, and the attack speed definitely isn't there, and there's an evolution. A lot of factors against Eva 2. I really hope for better with Eva 2, but unfortunately she's just not that great. Eva 8, also not that great. Debatably F tier, but I might be able to think of 8 units that are worse than her. A unit with a sniper rifle sounds really good. I was just talking earlier about how Desghidorah's obnoxious range makes him like a really annoying sniper. This unit has an actual sniper with insane range on it. The problem is they gave it piss poor damage. There's no reason you want her to be sniping. You want her to enter her second phase with the pistol because it does more damage. Eva 8's just a waste of energy. This one's also 6 cost. What the hell? Okay, Sachiel, the one collab unit that's like really good, except like the Gamera units and the Monsterverse units. But that doesn't count because they're like current. I'm talking about like the SJHU units. Sachiel's like the one good one. I don't think he's S tier anymore though. He's like A tier. He blows up. That's his gimmick. He does pretty good damage on his own, but that doesn't matter. He blows up. He hits everything. Does really good damage. You can put him on defense and just cripple your opponent's offensive pushes. You can put him on offense and suddenly your opponent has to try really hard to make sure he doesn't reach their leader. Sachiel's good. Kind of falling behind on power creep since, you know, he's not in the game anymore, so you can't upgrade him. But he's good. Freezing Sonde. Freezing Sonde sucks. But you know what? It has niche uses. You wanna know why? Because this dingus is popular. Rainbow Mothra gives things a guard, which means they can tank 1 hit for free. Freezing Sonde, even though its damage is minuscule, is a hit. Which means, for 2 cost, you can break the guard of a whole bunch of stuff Rainbow Mothra has given the guard to. This would be nice. The one issue is Rainbow Mothra's effect radius is way larger than the Sonde, which means you probably won't be able to hit everything with the guard. But you know what? It's not too bad. Sometimes slowing down an enemy is useful. Sometimes, I don't know, not really worth a team slot, but it has niche uses, I guess. Gamera is pretty good. Kind of just a generic damage dealer. Knocks back flying enemies, can be very annoying for decks that try and like stack flying units, which you will definitely see. You'll see people running, you know, Des and Battra and Ghidorah and Ghidorah and Ghidorah and this one doesn't fly. Gauss, definitely popular. The Mothras are all pretty popular. Not a whole lot to say. He knocks back flying units, he does good damage. Yeah, Gamera's solid. Flying Gamera is annoying. I don't know where to put him. I guess A tier. He was really good in his debut season, and I have not seen him since. He's also, like, really jank, because he moves as he attacks, so he will, like, enter and exit search ranges, and it's really awkward. Funnily enough, yeah, he matches up really poorly against grounded Gamera. Yeah, flying Gamera's not bad. Mecha King Ghidorah is good because he beats the Chibi children. Yes, he is 3 cost more than them, but he is stun immune, and even with the distraction, his attack is wide enough that he can usually hit both of them, because they try and stick together. Unfortunately, he's now kind of outclassed by Des, who can just snipe the children. Though Des, you know what, Des does poorly against stunning units, so you know what, I think MKG has decent application. Oh, right, Flying Form Gamera is also stun immune though, so that's his other competition. But you know what, MKG's good. MKG was another unit that was really, really bad for a long time, and they saved him. So you know what, if he can work, there's hope for Bomber. Probably not the Evas, I think the Eva collab is done, but you know, there's hope for Bomber and some of the other bottom tiers. 1000 Years definitely S tier. Too much damage. Forces a very linear combat method. You have to put down multiple units that can sort of sponge hits from him to stop him from doing his max damage, or you will get your HP melted so quickly. This Ghidorah, Monsterverse Ghidorah, he's okay. Stun immune, but too high cost. Single target. Attack buff is nice, not when your opponent has Mechagodzilla, though. He's okay, I guess. Okay, new Ghidorah. This is the one that had everyone freaking out because he can, like, one-shot things, basically. I say that, but he's still not good. Here's what I determined with my brief experimenting with Netflix Ghidorah. His 3-cost form is nice if you need guard broken. I mentioned Rainbow Mothra's popular, gives everything guard. If you really need guard broken, as opposed to Sonde, where it's a 2-cost unit that probably won't hit everything, Ghidorah is a 3-cost unit that will guaranteed hit everything and do extra damage on top of that. But that's its only use because it's so little damage. The 6-cost form is completely useless. You never want to use the 6-cost form, it is just a waste of energy. The 9-cost form is great if you can sort of goad your opponent into deploying, like, Godzilla Earth, or Netflix Mechagodzilla, or I guess this guy. Basically, you force your opponent to waste all of their energy, and then you waste all of your energy to just immediately damn near kill whatever they just played. That is literally your entire energy bar, except for 1. You know, you can have a max of 10 energy. It's a very janky setup. Yeah, you know, damaging the whole board is, and almost killing it, I'd say that's worth the 9 energy. Netflix Ghidorah is okay. He's probably somewhere up here. Maybe even A tier. I'll figure that out. Alright, Ride Ghidorah. He has his little lightning attack, which can sort of poke the back ranks, which is nice for damaging buildings. Your opponent is running 2 buildings. You train bomb 1, like you train bomb their pylon, for example, and then they put down like maser tanks or an airbase or something. Oh no, what do I do then? Oh, I can poke it with Ghidorah. It doesn't do the most damage though, but at least, you know, having the lifetime is not bad. And then he hits the field, and he can increase his speed when he sees something. He technically has some sort of, like, counterattack? I don't know, it's really weird. He seems really strong, but he's not. He might be. I think he's B tier, at least. Giant Octopus. Hilarious. They gave this guy the buffs of a lifetime, and he's still not good. He's too slow, he's too weak, he doesn't do much of anything. He slows things down poorly. Gigan, he runs forward and attacks the enemy leader. Unlike Clash Royale, where you can place things like half screen, you can only place things at like a third screen for most of the match. So your opponent has plenty of time to react to Gigan. They can slow him down, they can dimension tide him away, they can just put something down that kills him. If you can, like, save him as a surprise till the end of the match, maybe you can make him work. You can also use speed increasing stuff to just drop ship him to your opponent, but he's a gimmick. Other Gigan, on the other hand, is really good. I'm tempted to say S tier, but I feel like there's stuff that's better than him. But he's definitely at least A tier. He's low cost, he stuns things, he does good damage, he does multiple hits so he breaks guard. Gigan is the all-in-one insane glass cannon package. The only downside is he doesn't hit flyers. But that's probably good for balance. I think he'd be overpowered if he did. Alright, Godzilla 89. Remember when this guy used to be scary? He does big damage, but he's not too much to worry about most of the time. If he gets in, he's scary, but there's like 1,000,001 ways to deal with this guy. Godzilla 89 ult is okay. He's better. He does attacks in bursts of 3. He has an automatic nuclear pulse that'll knock things back. It's alright. This guy, Godzilla 54, one of 2 units with an RNG factor, and that means he's bad. Yeah, if you can get like a clutch 4-cost Kiryu, you can really piss off your opponent, get a cheesy win with that sometimes, but good luck with that. For those who don't play the game, his gimmick is he reincarnates into another Godzilla at cheaper cost, but you don't know which one, and a lot of these Godzillas are kind of mediocre. Godzilla 54 ult is good, actually. He's not bad at all, because his gimmick is he is immune to all alternative forms of damage and status effects. Burn, slow, stun, poison, none of that stuff affects him. But then we get weirder. He's self-destruct immune, so he can beat Sachiel and stuff. He doesn't have to worry about Space Godzilla down here. Effect damage immune. So... oh, and he's knockback immune, too. So yeah, knockback doesn't deal with him. He's immune to train bombs. I think that also means he's immune to Netflix Ghidorah? So he's got some good stuff going for him, absolutely. He's a slow attacker, though. That's his main weakness. And he kind of wishes he was tankier. This guy, Godzilla 2000, Godzilla 99, technically. I call him Godzilla 2000 because that's what he is in, like, the Pipeworks games. He's good at clearing out swarms, and that's kind of it. He's not too great on single target because his attack speed is too slow. Godzilla 01. Also pretty good. Big damage, a little bit of an attack debuff, but not as good as Megalon's. There's kind of better options than him, though. For 6 costs, you want a big splash damage unit? We've got Kiryu and Super Mechagodzilla somewhere. There he is, yeah. Skar Godzilla, Godzilla 2003/2002. He's a funny unit. I don't know if he's the best. He just charges into things and bonks them. That's his gimmick. He really wants to do the, like, charge into you, knock you back with the atomic breath, and then charge into you again. He usually doesn't get to, though, for a multitude of reasons. Usually just dying too quick to things. He's nifty. That's the word I'm gonna use. Godzilla Final Wars, again, pre-balance changes. Therefore, not good. If stuff gets too close to him, he knocks him back with a tail swing. But unlike in the current update, in last season, the tail swing was weaker than his usual attack. Now it is stronger than his usual attack, which it should be. I guess if you really don't want to handle the, like, evolution of Destoroyah, you can use this guy who doesn't need an evolution. And he's tankier than Destoroyah, but Destoroyah is, like, way stronger damage-wise. Godzilla Monsterverse. Gimmicky, very gimmicky. He can melt down high HP targets if you give him the chance, but usually he doesn't get the chance. He just dies or gets stunned and then does nothing. Godzilla -1, S tier. S tier alert. Place him in water and he just blows up. This makes him the most map-dependent unit in the game, because on the standard maps, usually there's a good spot around the middle to place him. You can place him at, like, half screen. But if you're on Skull Island, you have to place him on the sides. And if you're on Hollow Earth, there's nowhere to put him. You have to put him on land, and then you don't get the explosion. Even without the explosion, he's okay. He has HP regeneration, which makes him really tanky. You have to get gear on to get rid of that. 3 out of 5 maps, he's really dangerous because you can put him farther than other stuff. He does big damage. And then on those other 2 maps, he's just kind of wasting away. The thing is, though, eventually the Monsterverse collab's gonna end, I'm pretty sure. And we're gonna go back to the main 3 maps, and then he's just gonna be busted again. So I'm still putting him in S tier. Godzilla -1 Geens is a big old gimmick. He will sit on your side of the battlefield and blast away at the enemy leader every 20 to 30 seconds. And he's really annoying to deal with, but his stats are terrible, so as long as you can get something in, you can usually deal with. Good players can put something bulky in front of him and not have to worry about that, but he's definitely a gimmick. This guy just drains the fun out of the game, man. Burning Godzilla, not good. Where do I want to put him? He's probably better than these Godzillas. Not good, not good, Burning Godzilla. If you can charge him up, he can explode real nice when he dies. But that takes like a long-ass time, and usually your opponent can deal with him pretty quickly. Because power creep. His stats used to be impressive, now they're not. He has 5 costs, which isn't bad, but... Godzilla Earth used to be real nice. Now he's just okay, I think. Big numbers. Big numbers the character. I said it before, I'll say it again. Big numbers. Big HP, big attack, but big attack intervals, big cost. Now he's a little more balanced because of power creep. There's a whole bunch of stuff stronger than him now. Godzilla Evolved! S tier alert! S tier! Where do I put him? Probably there. God damn! You want to talk about a unit whose gimmick is doing more damage than everything else? That's him too! Though his gimmick is more so spreading damage out across a gigantic area of effects if you're not careful. He's part of a reason why guarding is so good now. Because he has a slow attack interval, but big numbers. If you can set up a guard, you can potentially block a whole platoon of units from getting wiped out by this guy, which also stops him from charging his atomic breath because he needs to get kills to do that. Or time. That's a factor too. Usually if he, like, sits on defense, kills one thing, and then runs forward, he'll have a max charged atomic breath, or whatever. He's dangerous. He forces you to react. He is an S-tier unit, absolutely. Godzilla the Ride. I know he looks identical to Godzilla -1, but I promise this is a definitely distinct version of Godzilla. He's good. He gives things critical strike, which means the next attack they do is double damage. So for once, it's actually better to have a big single target damage dealer, like Godzilla Evolved, or Desghidorah, or even this guy. Or especially this guy if the next attack is the explosion. Actually, I don't know what that interaction is necessarily how it works. Destoroyah 2, big single target damage dealer. Godzilla Earth, big single target damage dealer. You see why this guy's good? He pairs well with all the top tiers. Normally you wanted, like, multiple hits to deal with guard, and the issue was, like, there weren't a lot of units that did multi-hit. Gigan did multi-hit, Mothra down here multi-hit, but most units don't do multi-hit, so most of them pair well with this guy. Also, if his opponent is on low HP, he does a second consecutive attack. Yeah, he can actually win some 1v1s you wouldn't think he would, so yeah, Ride Godzilla's pretty dang good. Godzilla Ultima, I want to put him in B tier, but B tier's getting real crowded. I think he might be a C tier. He is the sniper unit. He is the truest sniper unit. This guy's just obnoxious. He's a tank with sniper range. Ava 8 has the sniper rifle, but sucks at her job. Godzilla Ultima's the sniper. He has 100 range, will sit back and snipe the enemy with big damage. Counterplay is to stun him or distract him, or just get something between your leader and him before he starts attacking. And an evolution process with Terrestris. Yeah, Godzilla Ultima's pretty good, but I feel like it's just like the metagame becoming more and more fast-paced. Power creep is sort of leaving him behind. Godzilla Tower! Wow! This is a Season 1 ass unit right here. Why the hell was this introduced, like, 2 updates ago? This is like a unit that would have been introduced when the game came out, and by now it would be like 2 cost cheaper and have like a half-decent lifetime, and it would still suck. But no, it's 5 cost, lasts for like 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, I forget. Takes a while to build up its max damage, and has like 0 HP and will die in 1 hit to everything. You are so much better off spending the extra cost to get this guy on the field who does the same thing, a laser beam that increases in damage over time, and he's still not good. What? But there's probably balance changes incoming. Giron! Giron's good, maybe not S tier. Giron's good. He strips buffs from things, but only if they have high HP. If they don't have high HP, he switches to his weaker attack. So, a little gimmicky, but stripping buffs from things is real good. You can strip HP regeneration from this guy. You can strip defense buffs from something Mogira is buffing. You can strip attack buffs from stuff Battra's buffing. You can strip critical strike from things. You can strip guards from things. Rainbow Mothra's buffing. Getting rid of buffs is a really good gimmick on a 3 cost unit with good range and splash damage. Yeah, Giron's a nice support unit. Real good fella. I think we needed Giron. I think he makes the metagame healthier. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we did not need Gyaos. Debatably S tier. Probably S tier. Maybe not. Definitely the best swarming unit in the game. Gyaos can very quickly overrun a battlefield. You really want something with big splash damage. And even then, Gyaos is like a 3-coster. Most of the stuff that does big splash damage is 6. Yeah, Godzilla 1 is 6. This guy's 6. This guy's 8. And he only gets splash damage on the enemy side of the field. Rainbow Mothra's 5 and doesn't do that good of damage. You're 6 cost. You're 4 cost, but you suck. Shin Godzilla... Even then, Shin Godzilla's 6 cost. So yeah, everything that does good splash damage is way more expensive than this guy, and he can get out of control real quick. Yeah, you're 7 cost, you're 7 cost, you're 7 cost. You're 3 cost, but you can't hit flyers, so you don't count. Gyaos is really obnoxious. Being able to put down 5 units by the end of his escalation, 3 of which have half-decent HP stats, more than usual swarming units, yeah. This is also part of why Dorats and Kamacuras fell out of favor. Speaking of Ghidorah, not good. Yeah, probably D tier. Like I said, he's a splash damage dealer for 4 cost. That sounds nice. He has an evolution, but it is mostly manageable. But his speed is slow, his attack speed is slow, and his damage just isn't really there. Some like generic numerical buffs I'm sure could get Ghidorah some good stuff, but he's not cooking just yet. Airbase, oh my goodness. Not S tier, too gimmicky to be S tier, but Airbase, wow. Blow up of the century right here. All you had to do was give it a little more lifetime, a faster spawning interval, and a little extra damage on the helis, and this thing went from bottom tier garbage to a legitimate threat that will straight up counter some high level strategies. The helis are like really weak, but if you can get them to pile on their damage, they can quickly get out of control and chip away at things. Any like grounded only unit will be seriously chunked by these guys. So like Sachiel, Gigan, Kong down here. And that's real nice to have. Biollante also, charging Godzilla. Yeah, that's really good. The main thing that sucks with the helis is they also lose to a lot of common things. Namely, this guy, Desghidorah, can wipe out a whole squad of helis because they come in a straight file. There's a lot of units that don't really have to worry about the helis. Megalon also down here. Megalon can deal with helis very easily. Some stuff that attacks slowly does have to worry about the helis. Mothra kind of hates the helis. They're weird, but they can be really good. Also, you can give them guard. Rainbow Mothra can get 2 helis with 1 buff, and that's usually more than enough. Godzilla Earth hates that. 2 helis that can tank 1 hit each really annoys Godzilla Earth. The helis are surprisingly good. Who knew? The military actually put up a fight for once. Jet Jaguar, another unit that got like a really nice glow up. Probably more of a B tier, but like a good B tier. He went from having 2 guard to 4 guard, and unlike Rainbow Mothra and Shin Den, his guard is built into him, which means Giron can't take it away. Your enemy has to hit him 4 times to get rid of his guard, guaranteed. Which is really nice, especially when you've got big damage dealers like this guy, and not you attack 3 times. This guy running around. Jet Jaguar is real nice as a tank unit. Other Jet Jaguar, not good. He's cheap, but he has an evolution. Usually it's free, but evolution's still kind of a downside for most things. And he does knockback, but it's not enough. He just kind of sucks. He's slow, which is really weird. You'd think you'd want him to like knock back, run in, keep knocking back, but no. He's only really good at blocking like melee units, and melee units aren't good anyways. What, you can stall Godzilla 89. What the frickin' dude? Okay, Kamacuras. I mentioned Kamacuras have kind of fallen off, but they're still useful. They can stop charging units. They can do good damage to like Mogira if he's like on your leader. They're not bad. Kamacuras Dorats are not bad, it's just you'd kind of usually rather want Gyaos or Shinden or anything else. That's not true. They're B tiers. They're pretty solid. Kamacuras Swarm, not great. Like a decent D tier. They do good damage, obviously, but it's 7 Kamacuras for 5 cost. That's a bad deal, considering this is 3 Kamacuras for 2 cost. And they all get wiped out by 1 blast of Godzilla 01, or Super Mechagodzilla, or Kiryu, or any other big splash damage dealer. I don't know, I guess some decks are unequipped to handle it. Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider da. Kamen Rider. Definitely one of the best leaders in the game, but we're not talking about leaders, we're talking about units. And he's not a very good unit. He's like Gamera. He's cheaper than Gamera. Where's Gamera? Gamera. He's cheaper than Gamera. He does knockback on placement, but it's disjointed and usually doesn't amount to anything. The main problem is he's slower and weaker and closer ranged than Gamera, which are all traits you do not want to have. So usually you're better off with Gamera. Kamen Rider can work. He's just a little weird. If you've got him at a good level, though, set him as your leader, stun everything on the board for 3 seconds. It's great. Kids! This thing is called Kids! Unlike these kids, this kids is bad. It warps things forward, and for 3 costs, that might not seem too bad, but your opponent can see where they are and just sort of prepare a defense most of the time. It's like, if you had it for free, obviously it'd be crazy good. but it's a team slot. You have to dedicate a team slot to it. So you can maybe pair it with something that does big damage and has big HP. Godzilla 89's a common partner. Probably one of the big guys, Godzilla Earth, the new Mechagodzilla, not anime Ghidorah, Monsterverse Ghidorah. Yeah, they can work pretty well with him, but or well with it. It's a vehicle, but whatever. It might be a D tier if I can fit other stuff in F tier. I don't really know though. There's not a whole lot of like trash units. You really have to start looking at the bad gimmicks like kids. King Caesar. He's like this Godzilla. He's cheaper and stronger on the charge, but he doesn't have like the cool atomic breath, and he has less HP. Maybe a C tier. But he's not bad. He can work. Here, Ryu is really obnoxious. You can send him directly to your leader and blow stuff up, which means even if you put down something like Kamacuras, he might just blow him up. Kiryu's always been good. He's sort of falling off, but every hyper offense team has Kiryu as their linchpin, basically. Or Mogira, because Mogira does the same thing. Or both. You can run both. Kiryu ult is pretty solid. Like I said, splash damage dealer, except he has a time limit, and when the time limit runs out, his area of effect narrows, and he can't hit flyers anymore. Or I think he can, but he won't target flyers. He only targets the ground. But he gets faster when he does that, so that's nice. Yeah, Kiryu ult is pretty solid. Kong. Strong Kong. I've been messed up by Kong. I'm gonna put him in high D tier, maybe C tier. He really doesn't seem like a threat because he's so simple. He just runs up and punches stuff, but he has half decent stats. 5 cost, good HP, good damage, good attack intervals. Yeah, kind of wishes he was Orga, and Orga's not that good. The main thing Orga has over him is range, and Anguirus is tankier and has the lower cost, so he's not getting too far on the tier list. But you know what? You can make Kong work if you really want to, or you can just use the Kong that's actually good. This Kong is 6 cost, but he has 2 guard, and this is the same kind of Jaguar guard, so it's built in. It can't be taken away by Giran, and he will do a leap when he sees a unit, which is 90 range, which is high. And while he's leaping, he's completely invincible, completely immune to all damage. You can mess some people up real bad with Kong. Your best bet is a flying unit. Desghidorah can do good against him. K.I.D.S can do pretty good. Helis, where'd they put the Helis? The Helis can do pretty good against him. And also did I mention he does splash damage when he lands, and it can hit flyers, so even if you put down like Dorats, he can just wipe them all out in a big leap punch thing. Yeah, Kong can really mess you up. Kumo Augment. Wow. This guy was the best unit in the game, got immediately nerfed, and was then still the best unit in the game for like 3 seasons. And then he got nerfed into the ground and is complete trash. D tier. He stuns things, but it's a small area. It used to be a big area. Now it's not. He also used to do good damage. Now he doesn't. And he's 4 cost. He used to be 3. If any one of those things was changed, he'd probably be a half-decent unit. Either the big stun range, or the damage being good, or the cost being lower. Give him back one of those 3, he's a great balanced unit. Give him back 2 of those, it's too much. Definitely. Which is why I think they were fine with nerfing him into the ground and just leaving him. Yeah, there's better options for stunners. The children, even though they're not splash damage, I think he's is he the only stunning splash damage unit? He might be. Not counting like Desghidorah, who does like 1 splash damage stun. I think he's the only unit whose regular attack is a splash damage stun. But it's so weak and low range that it's not worth it. Markalite Cannon. Really good damage, and its lifetime was extended in some recent update, so it can stick around for a while. Its HP is its big concern. If your opponent can like tank 1 hit, get in, and kill it, well, there you go, you're 5 energy down the drain. And again, now that guard is super popular, Markalite might just completely whiff. Gimmicky. Always kind of has been gimmicky. Buildings are usually pretty gimmicky. Alright, Mazer tanks on their own are not too great. Maybe D tier? I don't know. They're not great. They're, like, tankier than most, like, small, weak units. Like, they're tankier than Kamacuras. That's not saying a whole lot. They die in 1 hit the most everything. They can stun, which is nice. And technically there's 2 of them, so they can stun 2 targets. Technically, sort of. But their range isn't that great either. Their damage isn't really that great. Oh, and they can't go in water, which on some maps is a big issue. Like the map where there's a big-ass river right through the center. The Mazer Tank base is better. A constant stream of the Mazer Tanks can be really obnoxious, especially if they're all attacking at different times and you can, like, perma-stall some things with stun. Way of beating them is to just put down something big and stun immune. Godzilla Earth works well. Mecha King Ghidorah, Flying Form Gamera. This guy could probably do it. Yeah. Mechagodzilla regular, bad. Always kind of has been. He's just too simple. 4-cost unit, and everything else about him is lackluster. Low speed, low damage, low HP. He's a unit you slap on your team when you first download the game because you want something sort of balanced to cover a lot of options. Except now, in modern days, you get like 3 free 4-star units when you play the game the first time anyways, or something stupid. So you don't even need that! You can just get like Super Mechagodzilla. Speaking of, Super Mechagodzilla is really good. Big damage, big range. Actually, not big damage, but big range. And he slows things down. And he's got pretty good HP too. Yeah, he's solid. He's really good. This Mechagodzilla, again, not going off of the balance changes. So we're going with the old AI, which means when his disguise breaks, he has to sort of take a minute to take in his surroundings, where he will usually just die. In the current game, he's usable. He's still not great. He can act as sort of a sniper. He has 75 range once the disguise is busted, which is nice. He's the other unit with an RNG factor, which is you don't know what Godzilla you're gonna get disguised as. It's a 1 in 4 between this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Wow, they're actually all lined up together, and they're all in C tier. So yeah, sometimes you can make something work. You can like melt something down with this guy, have his disguise break, and then get like a long-range unit for support that won't just completely whiff to like a stunning unit. I've also experimented with like running one of these Godzillas on the team, usually Final Wars Godzilla, so you can place like 2 Final Wars Godzillas and make your opponent guess which one's the real one. But it's gimmicky. Silly, kind of fun, but gimmicky, not too great. Monsterverse Mechagodzilla sucks! He can do good damage, but good luck with that. His attack interval's really slow, his HP's not the greatest, and he doesn't hit flyers. Well, he can hit flyers with the missiles, I think, but he doesn't target flyers, he targets the ground. Anime Mechagodzilla is definitely S tier, for sure. If you can get him on your opponent's side of the field, you might just win the game, honestly, because his attack is huge and does crazy damage and hits like 6 times, so it completely demolishes guard. And he's stun immune, so not a lot of good defensive options. Knockback is weirdly enough your best bet, but knockback is limited. These two right here have like a bit of knockback on their attacks. But besides that, and you can pull him back with Dimension Tide. Final Wars Godzilla's melee attack, you have to risk letting this guy get real close to your leader and then knock him back. No way. And then Jet Jaguar, who, as we determined, sucks. If you can keep Netflix Mechagodzilla on your opponent's side of the field, his attack is still kind of obnoxious. It's still a 3-hit attack that breaks guard, but it's weaker. It's more manageable. I notice a lot of players make the mistake of like putting him way in the back to sort of support him. No, the way you play Netflix Mechagodzilla is you put him as far forward as you can, and he walks so slowly that you can usually get something out to put behind him. So yeah, Netflix Mechagodzilla is kind of correct. Mephilas from Sonic 06, Mephilas. Memphis, Tennessee. Not good. 6 cost for a unit that he has like halfway decent damage, I guess. He has a stunning kick. And it's, I believe, the fastest attack interval with a stun in the game. Which means he can stall some units, like, completely. But it has to be melee range, and it has to be on the ground. Sometimes you can get a good stun on, like, defense, but that's kind of it. For 6 cost, there's so much better stuff you can do on offense. You know, you can try and stun like a Mogira or something targeting your leader. Or you can put down a 2-cost Kamacuras and kill him in like 2 hits. And yeah, after that defense, he goes on offense, he can hit things with his beam and do like nothing. Megalon! I've been talking about Megalon a lot this video because he's good! Oh my goodness, is he a team player? Has good range, he does splash damage, and his attack buff was
strengthened to 25% down, and he places an anti-healing field when he's placed, which means you can shut down Psychic Chorus and Fire Rodan if your opponent is using them offensively, which is great. Megalon has a lot of great options, and his damage is pretty good too. Very, very nice, Megalon. Mechagodzilla got buffed last season, down to 4 cost, still not good. She has this big slowdown radius. You can slow things down when placed, which is nice for certain things, but it's like you're countering, like, again, like, low-tier units. You're countering Gigan, you're countering Godzilla 89, you're countering Kong, you're countering Monster vs. Mechagodzilla. Yeah, good job, I guess, Mechagodzilla. And yeah, her damage isn't that great, unfortunately. Even at 4 cost. Like, I tried using her to combat, like, Desghidorah. It's like, alright, once he locks on my leader, I'll, like, put a Mechagodzilla behind him and kill him, but it's too slow. She doesn't break things down fast enough. And she's a melee unit, which means pretty much only on defense. Manila, another bad unit. Used to be good, now is bad. We have he's 2 cost and he stuns things and he's long range, but his stats are so bad. Low HP, low attack, low everything. And he's single target, so and slow ass attack interval. You can do better than Manila. You can also do better than the missiles. The missiles are bad. They do hit multiple times, which is nice because it breaks guard and all that. But for 5 cost, train bombs are 3 cost. Mogira, Kiryu's little brother in this game, and he's kind of better because he doesn't have the big splash damage. He doesn't have the damage increase with Kiryu Kai, but he attacks quickly, which is nice. And he's 5 cost, which is usually, like, that's, like, the thing people want him for. He's easier to deploy than Kiryu, because you need less energy for him. But same gimmick, he can be placed anywhere, which includes the enemy leader's feet. So Mogira is good, and the other Mogira is also really good. Yeah, I think I can warrant putting him in S tier. 4 cost, constant defense buffs. It doesn't affect 7 cost and up, which is nice for balance, but still, getting a 6 cost unit like Super Mechagodzilla with like a defense buff is still kind of cracked. Oh, and he's 75 range all the time. Yeah, just kind of good all around from Mogira. Great support unit. Keizer. The Keizer is pretty good. Big damage. Big old damage. I'll put him in B tier for now. Big old damage. And Monster X, which he starts as, is like 5 cost, fast, decent damage. This guy's 7 cost and slow, but even bigger damage, and when he kills stuff, he heals, which can get out of control. The issue is there's no way to, like, prevent, like, kill stealing, basically, and he doesn't get the heal if he just assists in a kill. And he's slow to attack, so usually other units will sort of get the jump on him, but yeah, sometimes that healing's real nice. Mothra, I said Mothra was A tier in the last video. She's kind of fallen off. Low range and sort of slow to attack because it's like 10 hits over the course of like 3 seconds ish. Usually you want something just more immediate, especially now with like critical strike from Godzilla the Ride going on. Mothra pairs terribly with that, but she's still all right. 3 cost, splash damage, breaks guard. Yeah, Mothra Monsterverse. Long-range support unit, kind of outdone by Super Mechagodzilla, but she gives things stun immunity, and she gives back energy on death. I keep forgetting about that. That's a really nice ability. The problem is she is support, and she's a 6 cost support. Mothra Leo is unfortunately not too good. He used to be real good, not too good anymore. He's the other charging unit, but he's more expensive than King Caesar, and he doesn't have all the bells and whistles of charging Godzilla. His main advantage is he can hit flying things, which is nice. You can hit Desghidorah with a charge, and that's pretty cool. But done in by guard, done in by slowdown, done in by placing like a little meat shield in front of him. Hates the helis, hates that the helis are good, hates Gyaos. Rainbow Mothra. Is this my last S tier? Yeah. Is this my top 10? Is this my top 10? I think so. No, I need to put the brain bombs in S tier. Who's moving out? Who's moving out? Probably Mogira. You can handle Mogira. Maybe Rainbow Mothra. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Maybe Kong. But Rainbow Mothra affects this big, huge area of the field with guard. Everything gets +1 guard, including himself. Meaning they can just tank 1 hit. And from the big damage dealers, this guy, not you deal multiple hits. This guy, his explosion, Kong's shockwave, Sachiel's explosion, Destoroyah, Godzilla Earth's blast, critical strikes. Yeah! That's really useful. That's really useful. And on top of that, he does splash damage. It's low damage, and it's not the greatest range, but it is splash damage. It can beat some things. He can keep allies safe from like helis and stuff. So yeah, Rainbow Mothra's a really, really good support option. Again, a little expensive for a support option. He's 5 cost. He's not 6, but 5 cost is a little much, but you can definitely make that work. Absolutely. Aqua Mothra is really good. He's fast. He does good damage. He's a bit of a glass cannon. And then after 20 seconds, he dies automatically. But if you run down the 20 seconds instead of him dying to damage, then you get energy back. You get 2 energy back. So yeah, Aqua Mothra is real good on like damage support, sort of like an offensive push tool. He can kind of help out on defense if it's like a last minute thing, and then sort of go on offense. The funniest strategy in the world is run Biollante as your leader, play on Skull Island, use 1 energy to activate the leader skill, use 4 energy to place him in one of the rivers on the side, and watch as he basically teleports to the enemy leader. Aqua Mothra's real good. Neronga. He's nice. He has some good traits, but I feel like he's more of a C tier unit. He has good traits. He stuns things, and he's immune to damage when he's not targeting anything, because he goes invisible. It takes a while. It takes a little while. Also, I don't think that makes him immune to like effect damage or splash damage or anything. But you can make Neronga work. I think I previously said he can like beat this guy. Usually it's not really worth like a team slot to deal with Thousand Year. You can deal with him in other ways. But yeah, no, he can deal with Thousand Year pretty good. If you can time it right, he can sort of stall him with the stuns. He doesn't do great damage, and you sort of run the risk of like the intervals getting out of sync and Ghidorah just blasting him to Kingdom Come. But Neronga's alright. Orga is not too good. So like I said, Orga's another like just sort of tanky-ish unit, like Kong, like Anguirus. He doesn't hit flyers. His gimmick is he regenerates on death and becomes stronger. So he has a lot of HP if you include, you know, his initial HP and then the HP he gets back on death. I think there used to be a glitch where he could get like full HP back on death, but I think that's been patched. And yeah, his damage is good, his range is good, he's just kind of gimmicky. And usually Anguirus is the better tank. Or you use one of the actually good tanks like this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Psychic Chorus is good. Not S tier. I used to think it was S tier. Now it's sort of less good, I think just because the game's gotten faster. It heals things, that's its gimmick. The only real counterplay is Megalon, and even then, that's only if your opponent puts it on your side of the field. Usually you can just, yeah, heal up your units for free, especially if they, like, come out of a battle, and your opponent doesn't have anything to hit them immediately. You can heal them up, and they'll be charged and ready to fight on more. And it's only 3 costs, so that's good. That's real nice. Rodan! He's fast, he does pretty good damage. And that's kind of it. He's a melee unit, which isn't nice. He's low on HP, which isn't nice. 4 cost. There's a lot of 4 cost flying units now. Fire Rodan is 4 cost now. Still kind of better than Mechagodzilla, unfortunately. Who's also 4 cost, but basic, not too great. But if you want to make him work, you can. Fire Rodan's pretty good. Fire Rodan is now 4 cost. He's fast. He makes other things faster. And the buff lasts longer with the recent balance changes. And then when he dies, he heals things. I forgot to mention it. This Biollante does the same thing. When she dies, she heals things. And again, there's no real counterplay to healing. Unless you happen to have a Megalon field able to counter it. Most healing forms can beat out like damage over time stuff like acid and burning. And even then, acid and burning are not super common. I mean, let's see. Desghidorah's placement does burning. This Godzilla's attack on kill does burning. Ghidorah's death explosion does acid. This Biollante's attack does acid. And then, like, Shin Godzilla's leader skill does burning. I think some leaders do burning. It's him, and Desghidorah, I think, do burning. But, so yeah, you're not going to run into burning, and even then, healing can outpace burning. The main thing you might have to worry about is Frostbite, I guess, from Shimo, but that's not too big of a worry. Pyrodan's good. Good support unit. Kind of weak on, like, offensive front, but the speed can kind of trip up an opponent, I guess. Gimmicky, but good. Shimo! Yeah, so Shimo inflicts Frostbite, which is like a new status effect. It's like Burn, but it scales with HP percentage instead of just raw damage. So it's better against big HP targets and worse against
low HP targets like these guys. And also, Shimo has targeting that makes it so that she will try and hit multiple enemies instead of focusing down one, which is neat. But she's slow and not the strongest. She's okay. She's pretty good. Maybe B tier, but B tier's getting kind of full. I need to definitely push some stuff up to the lower and upper tiers. So maybe an A tier? Maybe like a low A? I don't know. I think there's other units here that qualify for low A. Ghidorah, Jet Jaguar, Gamera, Kiryu, yeah, even Tokyo. Shin Godzilla's not too great. He's 6 cost, but he has he has the longest evolution, technically, because this guy's 20 and this guy's 20, so that's 40 combined, 40 seconds. Not the longest in history. That used to go to old school Mecha King Ghidorah, who was 45 for some reason. He's 6 cost, which is nice, and he does real good damage, but his attack interval's really slow, and he only does splash damage against flying units. So yeah, he can beat something like Gyaos, but oh no, if there's like a Jet Jaguar in front of those Gyauses, well, Shin Godzilla's got to blast Jet Jaguar like 6 times, and he's gonna die immediately. So that's sort of why he's beaten out by like Destoroyah and other like big single target damage dealers, and even other splash damage dealers. Like this guy always does splash damage, you know. Same with Kiryu, same with this Kiryu, same with Mecha King Ghidorah and Desghidorah and not you, but you, yeah. Shinden is a really good support unit. Yeah, I guess Shinden's gonna miss out on S tier, but definitely a real good A tier. Yeah, what's better than, you know, killing a Mogira quickly when you can just distract the Mogira and it will get no hits on your enemy leader? Of course, you still have to kill the Mogira, which is why Shinden isn't, like, super great, because it does basically no damage. It can break guards sometimes, but it only targets flying enemies, which is weird. It distracts things, and it's good at that. And it has guard. Skar King is also really good. He stuns things, and he pulls them close to him, and he can buff allies, and he does more damage against low-cost targets. Like the children! But he's not... He doesn't necessarily beat the children, because he's not stun immune. If you're not stun immune, you're not really beating the children. Being able to just sort of move things around the battlefield is always nice. Even if it is a bit expensive and his HP is not great. Space Godzilla is like an okay tank. He sets up like walls and stuff, which can be really annoying, but his damage isn't that great. The attack buff he gives isn't that much. Usually there's better 6 cost options, but alright, he's a unique tank. Give him credit where credit's due. Usually if a monster has a worthwhile gimmick, they're gonna be above D tier. So like, Orga having a bunch of HP, Shin Godzilla cleaning up flying enemies good, Space Godzilla creating crystals, Kamen Rider knocking back flyers. Yeah, that makes them pretty solid. Maybe something like Mechagodzilla could go down. Maybe like Rodan could go down. Other Space Godzillas, not as much of a threat as I initially thought, honestly. I had to deal with him a lot last season. He's a lot more manageable now. But he can still do pretty good. He can hit up to 3 enemies, and he has the constant crystals that are just bombarding you with damage. And there's usually not a way to avoid them. You either want to get something with splash damage, so like Megalon works, Super Mechagodzilla works, Kiryu works. They can take out the crystals before they reach something, but they will slow down to hit them. Your other option is self-destruct immunity, and like I said, there's not a lot of that. There's this guy, and this guy. So yeah, Space Godzilla Fukuoka can just sort of pester you with a lot of damage. Usually you want something that does, like, big damage, but sometimes chip damage is what you need. Damage is damage. Speaking of chip damage, Super X. That's a C-tier unit right there. Longest range in the game, 120, I believe. Way larger than anything else, because Ultima's 100. Gigan's grapple is 100, I believe. I think you have higher range, but you barely count. Super X is real dang good, but he's weak. He's easily taken out. He's small enough to avoid the 2 hits of train bombs, weirdly enough. He'll only get hit by 1 train bomb 99% of the time, unless he's moving and moves into one. Which means he will live on, like, a sliver of HP. And sometimes that's all you need. Hollow Earth is, like, a good map for him. He can sort of camp out on the lava spaces. But, yeah, he's just sort of a long-range chip damage dealer. If you can get in against him, or you can send something behind him, or you can Dimension Tide him towards you, he's not surviving. Zeruel. In this game, he takes an L. The strongest angel, like, one of his strongest angels in Evangelion, reduced to
Another long-range chip damage dealer. He just sort of skewers things with his big stretchy arms, and it does like no damage. And then he blows up when he dies like Sachiel, but it's smaller than Sachiel, and he's longer range than Sachiel, so most things will avoid it. He's the other self-destruct immune unit, so good job. You have a better matchup against Fukuoka Space Godzilla than some other units in the cast. He's like not the worst D tier, but he's not good. His damage is so lacking. Train bombs, probably S tier, which means someone's gotta go. This is tough, honestly. I think it's Mogira. Mogira's annoying, but he's manageable. He's more manageable than guys. Train bombs have to go in S tier. I've determined that. I've put them in like A tier for like my whole life. But no, these things are everywhere, and for damn good reason. It's just damage. It's raw damage. You can damage the enemy leader, chip them down across the battle. You can damage buildings, you can damage incoming offense, you can damage defense to help your offense. It's so versatile for only 3 cost. When other damage options like that are 4 cost for low damage, it's mostly for the knockback. 5 cost for this guy. Ghidorah's 3 cost, but only his lowest damaging one. His higher damaged one is 6 cost and 9 cost. So yes, train bombs are fantastic. Alright, last 2 units. Let's get through this quickly. Ultraman is not great. Probably not D tier, but it's not super good. Ultraman is not good. He's stun immune. We like stun immune units, and he's cheap stun immune unit too. The problem is his damage is really, really bad, really, really low. I guess they were worried Ultraman was like too strong early on, and he was pretty strong when he was released. So they nerfed his damage to hell, and now he's just sort of this weird support chip damage unit, and he shouldn't be. He should be an offensive menace, I think. And then Zeton, you thought the bomber was gonna be the worst unit in the game. No, no, no. The last unit on the list is the worst unit in the game by a long shot. I won't go into the nitty-gritty, but Zeton sucks in every way. 8 cost, low damage, stupid gimmick that doesn't work. Doesn't even one-shot kill things. He blows up when he dies, / blows up when he reaches the end of his lifespan, but it charges so slowly, and only the last phase does worthwhile damage, and it's not even that much damage because it's HP percentage and only at a max of 90. Zeton sucks. He's tanky, I guess. That's his only good trait. What a terribly balanced unit. This dude never got any balance changes, like, at all. And then the collab ended, so he's not going to get any more ever. There's your de facto worst unit. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Zeton sucks. Now then, let's reorganize some tiers. So, S tier. Is this the order I want? No. Desghidorah is not that crazy, I don't think. I don't know. But you're map dependent, so I'm going to put you at the end, and then Mothra, and then Kong. I think that's a good top 10. It's kind of tough, but I think this is alright. A tier. So yeah, Mogira is definitely at the top. Shinden, then Gigan for sure. And then who? That's a good one. I feel like you're more towards the end. You're more towards the end. How many are in here? 1, 2. So this is 10. So this has an even 20. Okay, so here's our next 20. That's good. Gyaos can be dealt with like splash damage dealers. Giron's kind of gimmicky. Megalon's kind of gimmicky. Godzilla Earth's kind of gimmicky, actually. No, I don't know. I think Megalon should go up. Giron should go up, maybe. No, Gyaos should go up. Skar King. You go down there. You can go lower. You're not super crazy to deal with. I think that's alright. Okay, B tier. So B tier has 2 too many. And how many does F tier have? Maybe I should do this different order. 9. F tier needs 1 more. Who's the worst out of this batch? Ava 8, I think. I think you could make a case for any of these guys being the next worst. I think it's Ava 8, though. Just the sniper gimmick is so bad. The next worst... I mean, Manila stuns things. You're not good. You're not good. I think a lot of the collab units are down here, so Mephiles, Ava 0, Ava 1. Ava 1 can at least do damage. Mechagodzilla, other Mechagodzilla. He's not a collab unit, but he still sucks. Hidora's probably the best, or maybe Markalite, or maybe Mechagodzilla. I guess Mechagodzilla would be the best. Kumo's not great. We need 2 more D tier units also. Who's the worst out of this group?
Burning Godzilla and this Godzilla. Yeah, he's probably down here somewhere. And then the rest, I mean, a whole bunch of B tiers are gonna move down to C. God, that's hard actually. You can probably move these two down here. They don't get used a whole lot. Oh, I have one too many D tiers, I think. Okay, then Burning Godzilla gets moved back up. I think this is even, right? Alright, now I have to organize them. So I've organized A tier, I guess, sort of. I've organized D tier, I guess, sort of. No, you're okay. I say that, moving her further down the ladder. Okay, I think this is a solid D tier, right? C tier. I think Burning Godzilla is definitely the worst. I think Ginza's the best. I think Ginza definitely works. He's just hard to use. He's annoying. Probably you next worst. Ultraman's definitely down there. You two. King Caesar's definitely good. Mothra Leo can work. Destroyers aren't great. Orga, Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider's not that good. I wish he was better. Anguirus is solid, actually. Better than Orga, because he's cheaper. Okay, and then B tier. Shimo's probably the worst. Followed by like Keizer? Maybe this guy? Gamera's like one of the best. I think I'm gonna keep these two up here. I think that's... I don't know. This guy's gimmicky. Maybe we'll put him at the end. Jaguar is good. You're good. Kiryu Alt is good. Mothra. Skar Godzilla's gimmicky. You're gimmicky, kind of. There's better options than you. I don't know, Fire Rodan and like Battra aren't even that good. I guess that's why they're B tiers. I guess they're better. You're better. Maybe you're better. Maybe. I'll put you somewhere in the middle, I guess. Yeah. The damaging buildings is nice, I guess. Is this my list? Is this it? Okay. I did it. It only took me like an hour and a half. Alright, so from bottom up, Zeton, Stealth Bomber, Missiles, Sonde, Godzilla Tower, Giant Octopus, Chibi Godzilla, K.I.D.S, Maser Tanks, Eva 8, Mephiles, Eva 0, Monster vs. Mechagodzilla, Heisei Mechagodzilla, Godzilla 54, Eva 1, Jet Jaguar Showa, Manila, Eva 2 The Beast, Mechagodzilla, Kumo Augment, Gigan Showa, Kamacuras Swarm, Kong, Showa Rodan, Zeruel, or 10th Angel, Godzilla 2000, Ghidorah, Markalite Cannon, Showa Mechagodzilla, Burning Godzilla, Heisei Godzilla, Final Wars Godzilla, Ultraman, Monster vs. Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, Destoroyah Swarm, Space Godzilla, Kamen Rider, Orga, Maser Tank Base, Mothra Leo, Naranga, Godzilla Ultima, Super X, Anguirus, King Caesar, Kamacuras, Dorats, Godzilla -1 Ginza, Planet Eater Ghidorah, Shimo, Keizer, Monster vs. Ghidorah, Fukuoka Space Godzilla, 2003 Godzilla, Wakasa Bay Godzilla, Godzilla 2001, Ride Ghidorah, Tokyo Godzilla 54, Battra, Fire Rodan, Monster vs. Mothra, Wakasa Bay Biollante, regular Biollante, Heisei Mothra, what's he called? Heavy Arms Kiryu, regular Gamera, Singular Point Jet Jaguar, Energy Base, Mecha King Ghidorah, 4th Angel Sachiel, Godzilla Earth, regular Destoroyah, Dimension Tide, Flying Gamera, Skar King, Gigan, Aqua Mothra, Ride Godzilla, Super Mechagodzilla, Kiryu/Kiryu Kai, Mogira, Showa, Airbase, Gyaos, Megalon, Psychic Chorus, Final Wars Gigan, Shinden, Heisei Mogira, and then the top 10, Godzilla -1, Rainbow Mothra, Beast Glove Kong, Train Bombs, 1000-Year Ghidorah, Desghidorah, Nanometal Mechagodzilla. It has a stupid long name, I don't remember it. Godzilla Evolved, Chibi Godzilla Duo, and Ariake Destoroyah. There you go. That's my top 100 for Godzilla Battle Line. Like 5 days past when the season ended. But I did it! I ranked all 100 units in one video that no one's gonna watch. Hell yeah. Alright, next video is gonna be the Halloween special, hopefully. I think I've got something good cooking up for that, so stay tuned. I don't know if I'll ever do another Godzilla Battle Line video. I might try it out. I still play the game. We'll see what happens. Question of the day. You know what? I'll make it simple. Question of the day. What Godzilla is your favorite? Which incarnation of Godzilla is your favorite? Mine is probably Final Wars. I'm a sucker for Final Wars. Alright, that's it. Bye-bye.